So if you think there's enough at stake at tomorrow's US Open finals, well, think again. Not only are Carlos Alcaraz and Casper Ruud competing for the title, for a boatload of points, for a boatload of money, they're also, for the first time in history in tennis, both have the chance to become number one if they win. We've had scenarios where if somebody wins, they're going to be the new number one. But never before could both of the players in the final of a Grand Slam achieve that. And of course, that's not the only reason why I'm super excited to watch that match. If you followed the US Open in the last couple of days, the level of play is mind-blowing to me. And, we're talking a lot about the big three and, they're kind of, on the downturn for various reasons. I think men's tennis is in great shape. If you saw the matches between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, Frances Tiafoe beating Rafa. Yes, Rafa maybe not at his absolute best, but that's a highlight. We're okay in the future. So who do you think will win? Put it down below in the comments and give me one reason why you think that player has an edge. So before I tell you who I think will win, I'm going to run through a little bit of a pro and cons, and then you probably already can guess who I'm going to pick. What has absolutely blown my mind on both of those player sides in the last couple of days is the physicality with which they play, the intensity. Yes, maybe there were some nerves in the beginning of the semifinal of Casper Ruud and Karen Khachanov, but with neither player, I ever have the feeling that I have to find my way into the match and I'm going to go 95% and then I inch it up. No, both of them come on the court and you can expect phenomenal tennis from the first point. One thing that I'm really looking forward to tomorrow is the chess playing piece of who can dominate better, more with their forehand. And by the way, I've made forehand analysis for both players that I'm linking down in the description. But it's really interesting for me to see how both of them will go about getting more forehands. Because yes, everybody does that, but especially more these two are really, really trying to take over the game with those huge shots. And how that matches up when basically both of you want to do the same thing. And that's where I'm going to start with the first little edge that Carlos Alcaraz has over Casper Ruud. He's just a little more versatile to find his forehand, to set up his forehand, whether it's by throwing his opponent off maybe with a drop shot or serve and volleying or coming in with things, throwing in a slice every now and then. That just gives him more opportunities. And to watch that tomorrow really will be fun for everybody who's looking at the little details of that. One other area where I think Carlos Alcaraz has a little bit more of an advantage is how he can turn defense into offense. And it's not just the highlight shots. I mean, yes, if you Google highlight shots, Carlos Alcaraz against whoever, you will inevitably see that he's retrieving a completely, seemingly hopeless ball and just then nails a winner off it or some such thing. But it's not just the highlights. He does that all the time. And if need be, for 5 sets. And how do you beat somebody who, gets to everything, and then the slightest second where there is an opening, he's jumping on it? And of course, it's not to say that Casper Ruud can play great defense and then get offensive with it. But to me, every now and then he takes 1 or 2 more balls to kind of neutralize first, to kind of almost take a breath and then jump on the next opportunity. And again, if you're at that level, you can get the finger on the trigger fast. Yeah, that's an advantage. So another one for Carlos. Now, a couple of pluses in Casper Ruud's favor. The fact that he has not been on court 99 plus hours at 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yes, the last 3 matches that Carlos Alcaraz has played have been absolutely bonkers against fantastic opponents And it's not just the physical effort that you're putting in. I mean, I can't speak from experience, obviously, but it's the mental effort that you have to put in. I mean, think about the most intense situation you've ever been in your entire life, and you do this not just for 10 seconds, an hour or two, you do it for 5 hours. You do it for 5 hours under the eyes of millions of people, the people in the stadium and then people on TV. That just, again, yeah, can't compare it with anything that I've ever done, but I've had mentally draining matches. And to me, that's actually more of a negative. And the fact that Casper actually only had one 5-set match, which of course was draining, the other matches were mentally not as exhausting. And that could be a huge favor, because you never know that when the mental fatigue catches up with you. And yeah, of course, the finals would be the worst ever possible moment, but that's something that your body will dictate. And I think that's a plus in Casper's favor. The other plus side on Casper's side for sure is the fact that he's already been in one Grand Slam finals in his career. It's the greatest moment of Carlos Alcaraz's career so far, making it to the final. Casper Ruud has already been there. Yes, he got his high knee kicked against Rafa, so that could really be a plus for Casper. There's one more huge plus on Carlos Alcaraz's side. And unless, for whatever reason, physically, mentally, he can't continue where he left off, that will be the decisive factor for me tomorrow. And it is the fact that Carlos Alcaraz actively seeks the way to the net. And that will make him really difficult to beat, not just tomorrow, but in future. And I think that really sets him apart, actually, from Rafa and Djokovic. Of course, we know that Roger Federer can come in, he wants to come in, but he's never had the firepower from the baseline. And I think Carlos Alcaraz combines both of those things. The consistency, the tenacity, the mind, and the net game of the big three. And that rolled up into one, the knowledge that, yeah, he's going to attack your second serve. He's going to come in and put even more pressure on you when you have enough pressure because the guy never misses. That's going to be really tough to beat. And I think really that is why Carlos Alcaraz is going to win.